Hello, my name is Trey Francis and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to be reviewing and breaking down the latest episode of Lovecraft Country, which is season 1, episode 7, which was titled I Am. I thought it was the perfect title. It reminded me of some things, which I'm gonna throw in here in just a second, but I wanna get to this opening image and then I wanna kind of get into some of the cross-references that I was able to use from other films and a little bit of research to connect some dots for myself because I'm sort of out of the comic book world and things like this. But this episode, we kind of dived more into it, which I appreciated because I'm out, as much as I'm outside of it, as in reading the books, I do love the films. I love DC films, I love the Marvel films, so I kind of have some knowledge, but it ain't all the way there. But anyways, so the opening image in this particular episode, we saw Hippolyta, that's how they pronounce it here. I've heard other pronunciations, but I'm gonna go with Hippolyta because that's how they pronounced it here. So Hippolyta, she's on this mission. Remember, she had found the time machine at Uncle George's sort of half library, half garage, right? She found the time machine and she brought it home. And I think it's called Orion something, but I'm gonna call it the time machine because literally in this episode, she does these different time jumps or whatever. So whatever the case may be. And she finally comes across, after, being unsuccessful, she's finally finds success and she's able to align what she needs to align. The top opens and in lies the key that is needed. And she also finds, when she fine tunes it, she discovers that there is this this place that she has to go to. The word is right here on the tip of my tongue. I can see it. I can see it. I can see it. I actually can kind of hear the word. Come on, come on, come on. Coordinates. She finds these coordinates that she has to go to or that she wants to go to because she wants answers. Remember, 2 episodes ago, she turned the car around. So we also see that they do like a mini flashback, and where did her and her daughter go? They went to the burnt down house. Remember, this was the house that Christina and Titus and Samuel and Montrose and Letty and Tick, all of them were at. And my boo, William, but that's another story. They were all at this house. And then it got burnt down when Titus, yes, I believe that was his name, tried to go into he thought he was Adam or whatever, and he tried to go into the Garden of Eden, and that shit didn't work on him. It didn't work out too well for him. So next we see Rose and Christina. They're in the basement finally, because remember, Rose demanded that Christina tell her what is going on. And so Christina has taken her down to the basement, and what do we see? We see none other than William and the lady that was Rose when Rose was white. In the world, we see both of them. They both have been murdered, it looks like. And she questions her about, hey, did you do this? And she's like, no. However, I kept their bodies so I can use their blood to create the vial of potion that you were taking to transfer. It also allowed me to transform into a different person, which I was William and you were Miss Thing over here. And so they had this kind of conversation. Of course, Rose is pissed off because she was like, oh, I thought what I had with William was real. And I was getting lesbian vibes because Christina was like, those words were my words. However, it was just in a different body, but trust and believe, like that's how I felt. And so I was like, I'm here for some lesbianism, but I still don't trust Christina because I just feel like Christina is out for herself. I think she was the mastermind behind the Garden of Eden not working for her father. And I think she'll do anything, particularly, step over men, which is fine. It's whatever. But I mean, like, she just, she don't give a damn. I really don't feel like she gives a damn about anyone, particularly men. And then I also think particularly Black people. And I think she is trying to do this thing where she connects with Rose on this, like, oh, we both go through the same thing from a woman's standpoint. However, I still don't feel like she likes men all too well. And I don't think she likes Black people all too well. But these are just my feelings. You guys let me know what you think. If you think that, let me know. But that's just my thoughts. So next, we see that Letty is awakened in this dream of hers, and it's the same dream that Tick sort of had as well, where they're running out of the house, they're following his aunt, and as she's running out of the house that's on fire, and then she pauses, and then the lady's just sitting there looking at her, and then she's engulfed in flames too, as she's holding her belly as if she's pregnant. So it looks like these dreams are sort of foreshadowing of what is to come in some reality, and so in the real world. And so I'm curious to see like what Tick's was all about, because I don't really remember what his was about before he ran out. However, Letty's sort of feels like this premonition about her being pregnant, right? So then we move on. So she wakes up and she goes down and she questions Tick about the dream. And it's Hannah. Hannah's I think the aunt's name, who was running first. So Tick thinks that she's trying to tell them something about the Book of Names, and they believe that the Book of Names is still out there. And so if the Book of Names is still out there, that means that there is more spells to be cast, and the book will also tell them how to cast those spells, which is why everyone in this town is out here looking for this book, because it would make you the all-powerful, the almighty, the all-knowing, the most, it'll give you all those good things. So we have to be cautious about who gets their hands on this book, because if it gets into the wrong hands, shit can go to hell. More so than it already is in the 1950s in the South. But I digress. So anyways, now we jump over to Montrose's place. Montrose is with his lover. And remember, he had this sort of phoenix sort of moment a few episodes ago where it seemed as though he fully accepted himself. So he wakes up, his lover had spent the night, so his lover's like, the least I can do, you let me stay over here, I can make you breakfast. And Montrose, you know those people which, we all at least had dated one person like this, who always fucking shit up just for no reason. When you start to get close to their dumb ass, when you start to get close to them, then they want, now there's an issue, now there's a problem. Now they stop communicating, now they stop, showing, it's just like, go somewhere. Get out of my face, like I can't. But anyways, so that's what Montrose is doing, right? So it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back with him. And I think this is the reality for a lot of people when you're kind of dealing with trying to come out, which I didn't like that word, so let's rephrase it. When you're dealing with being more public about who you are to the public, you know what I mean? Which is no one's business, and you shouldn't have to tell anyone unless it's the person that you want to sleep with. I don't think we need to be doing these coming outs. I understand the importance of it, so I'm not doing that. However, we want to get to a place, of course, where it's just the norm and no one has to say, oh, hey, like, I'm this. Unless you have to sleep with someone, unless you like someone, unless if you're a girl, you like another girl, you're a boy, you like another boy, you're not binary, you're trans, whatever it is, unless you're engaging in something with someone, then you should have to say. But other than that, I don't think it should be this big of a deal, right? However, we're still in the place where coming out has an importance and it means something, and so I get it. But anyways, Montrose ends up calling his lover out on something, and so his lover gets up and he's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here because you always do this dumbass shit. So he gets up and he heads out. As he goes out, Montrose, his shirt is open. He grabs his lover's hand, and here comes Tick and Letty. They always showing up at the wrong time. But anyways, here they come showing up, and he's enraged. Tick is upset. Hey, he calls his father the F word. He calls him that. And then Montrose is he's ready to throw down. And we keep telling them, don't fuck with us because we ain't on some, you run up on us, run up on us if you want to. That's all I gotta say. But anyways, he was like, I'm still your father now. Fuck you up. And I was here for it. And so, of course, Tick gets upset. He's distraught. He causes that the F word, and then he runs outside. So, of course, Letty follows him. She's like, what's the problem? What's the issue? And he's upset. He is gay. And he was basically like, he beat me and he did this to me. He abused me, and he made me feel like it was because he loved me and because he cared for me. But all along, it was because he was gay and he didn't know how to deal with his own emotions and his own feelings and society pressures and all this kind of stuff. And so he feels some way about it. So next we jump over to, which my notes are very short. It's literally a back and a front, which I'm super excited about. But anyways, next we jump over to Hippolyta. So she is off on her journey, and Rose came over to babysit, right? So Rose is here to babysit. Of course, like I said, they always arriving at the wrong, but I guess right time for this series. Here comes Tick and Letty. They wanted to borrow the car because they had their own mission they wanted to go on to. And she's like, nah, sis, like, I gotta take this car. I'm off to go do something. And she kind of feeds them this, like, story or whatever it case may be, this lie. And so she leaves and she rolls off. And Tick is like, hey, I still have to go over here to, I think it's St. Louis, I believe it is. So you go in there, you stay here with your sister, you go and talk to her. Because remember, we saw how their Letty and Rose's last conversation went. It wasn't too good. So Letty's gonna stay behind. She's gonna talk to her sister, and Tick is gonna go off to St. Louis because he has to go meet this woman who knew his aunt Ethel or his cousin Ethel and all kind of stuff like this. So anyways, we go inside. We see that Letty and Rose, they have this conversation. And initially Rose is sort of like, apprehensive about accepting, hearing Letty out, right? But Letty ends up apologizing, and so Rose is like, oh, I guess you're not as much as our mother. I guess you're not like our mother as much as I thought you were, because I've never heard my mother apologize. And so we kind of see like, hey, that's going to be something that's a mending thing. So we're going to move on. They're good. They're golden. So next we jump over. We see that Tick arrives in St. Louis to visit his cousin's husband's, I'm going to say best friend's widow, right? And he's basically looking for more information about his mother's side of the family. And so the lady's like, hey, I have a book. Like, let me go get it. Yada, yada, yada. So she pulls out a book. I'm going to kind of, because there's a lot of jumping back and forth, so let me just say this and then we'll get to this other part. So she pulls out a book and the phone rings, so she gets up to go answer the phone. Tick is still there flipping through the book. He lands on this image of a lady who has a similar mark on her body that he does. I think hers is on her arm, and he gets up, he takes off his shirt, and we see that his is on his back, and it's the same marking, right, that this other person in his family also has. So we jump back over to Rose and Hippolyta, and Rose is cooking, and she asks Letty to come try this food and let her know what it's missing. Come try this sauce and let her know what it's missing. As Letty goes over there, she pauses and she jumps back and she's like, oh, what's in that garlic? And she was like, Rose was like, yeah, but you love garlic. Like, and Letty was like, I don't know, but it's making me feel like I had to throw up or whatever. And her sister was like, well, either you're sick or like you're pregnant. And so Rose was like, pregnant? So she runs off and she goes into Hippolyta's room to get some air. She opens up the window, and when she opens up the window, she looks over and she sees the time machine there on the floor. And so this is the phone call. So she calls, she picks up the phone, she dials someone. She's dialing the place that Tick is at. So the lady comes out. She's like, why you got your shirt off in my house? But whatever. She gives Tick the phone, and Letty lets her know, hey, she took this thing from Uncle George's place. She's had it this whole time. She didn't let us know. It looks like she discovered the key. She was able to open it. And there's some coordinates here that she is going on to. She is in danger. You got to go do something. So Tick is closer to her because I think she went to Mayfield, I think it was called. So yes, Hippolyta, she arrives in Mayfield. And she discovers... She discovers this, she's out in the middle of this field. There's this like spherical thing or whatever it gets to be. She goes down up in it, and in there, there's this other machine of sorts. And she sees, hey, it has the same keyhole that is for the key that she has. And so she sticks it in there. It takes her a moment, but she finally gets it to work. Damn, she finally gets it to work. And when she gets it to work, she's well off. Like, she's just like this mathematician. Like, she's very brilliant, as we already know. She was a little kid when she found the star and she was able to name it and stuff. So she's just a very smart person. And you remember, she always wanted to go on these trips for Uncle George, but he would never allow her. So this is just like right up her alley. And it made me emotional just seeing her, just being in her element. It reminded me of Hidden Figures, when we talk about how, those three women helped get us to the moon. And it just made me, Catherine and stuff, like, it just made me feel very, 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 very good, because I love seeing us in this light. I love it. 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 So anyways, we're coming up on my favorite part. We got like these last 2 points got to make, and then here we go. So then So Hippolyta is definitely in danger because these two policemen come in and she hides behind the machine at first. They come in, they accost her, they're aggressive, they push her up, they choke her out or whatever the case may be, and they're questioning her, hey, how did you do this? Blah, blah, blah. We haven't been able to make it work, whatever the case may be. They're upset. And remember, the police chief, I think these are his men. He knew about this and he hadn't been able to get it open because he didn't have the key. And so they want to know, how did she do it? And so I think that's why they were in there on her like this, because it was like that police chief that we saw before, the captain. So anyways, Tick runs in the nick of time and he kicks the police butt. One gets up and he charges Hippolyta and she picks up the gun and she shoots him. And she kills him. So then, as they're backing away from this thing, the portal opens up while Tick was struggling with another police officer, and he throws this police officer into the portal. And then as Hip was backing up, the portal sucks her in and she goes through, and we see that Tick is calling her name, and we're like, what happened to her? So next thing we know, Hippolyta, she wakes up in this foreign land. It looks like she's on what can we say? It looks like she's on another planet, to be honest. And so she's like in another galaxy, another universe. So it looks like these alien machine things that come out of nowhere, and they find her, they take her hostage, essentially. They put her in this old white room. She's naked when she wakes up. She's like, what the fuck is going on? And this lady with this big ass, this black lady, this beautiful black, tall, big ass fro comes in and basically lets her know, hey, like, you're not hostage. Like, you can do whatever you want to do. But she doesn't know. She doesn't have the key yet. So she tries to figure out some things. Like we said, she's a brilliant woman. Hippolyta, she's very brilliant. So she's figuring out some things. She figured out how to open the door. So she thinks she's free. As she goes to run out, the lady comes back in and she pushes her back in there. And she says, you let me go. You can't keep me in here. The lady again says, you're not hostage. You're not in prison. Like, you're not a prisoner. Like, you can, she informs me, you can get out of here. You just have to say what it is that you are. And so Hippolyta's asking the lady, what is she? And the lady goes, I am. And this is a part that got very exciting for me because it was like, whoa, I mean, a lot of this episode was very cool, and of course, I always love every episode. But this is where I was able to make a little bit of my connections from watching other films in like the superhero universe. So if you've seen Wonder Woman, remember at the end when Wonder Woman was like, she was on Ares' tail, right? Because she was looking for Ares. He had taken human form, right? Basically, he had been cast out from Zeus, which is her brother, not Zeus, but Ares is Wonder Woman's brother, and she had been cast out. And remember, Ares' mother is, Wonder Woman's mother was and is Hippolyta, if I'm not mistaken. And so she wanted a daughter, and so she molded Wonder Woman out of clay, and she asked Zeus to bring her to life, which Zeus did. So now Zeus had a son who was Ares, who was basically doing this uprising, trying to overtake and Zeus and all the other gods and stuff like this, was basically killing off people, and Zeus wasn't having it. So Zeus struck him down out of this place, and then with his dying breath, he put like this force field over where the women warriors were, where Hippolyta was the goddess of war. Is I'm saying that right? That didn't sound right. It didn't come out right. Hippolyta, which is Wonder Woman's mother, she is the queen of the Amazon, right? So we see these tall, these strong, these beautiful, like just, it reminded me of Black Panther, where we have the Okoye, and her women warriors who sort of protected everything. Like, these women warriors over here, they were that. And so remember when those men had come, they were looking for the spy, played by Chris Pine. They, some of them lost their lives, but they ended up preserving their island and basically killing all the men. That's what that's who Hippolyta took the form of. So basically the mother. So the mother over there, of course she was white because Wonder Woman was white over here. But in this, Hippolyta is a black woman, a strong black warrior, and I was just like here for it. So anyways, that was one of the connections that I made. And of course, like I said, I guess I didn't say it. So when at the end, when Wonder Woman was fighting Aries, in his human form, right, she asks him, hey, I compel you to tell me the truth. And he goes, I am. And so that's why this episode is titled this, and it's from all of that good stuff. So anyways, now we hop back over to here. So, so when the lady tells Hippolyta that you can say whatever you want, you just gotta believe it and be like, I am, and it's gonna basically transport you to wherever. She goes, I am. What did she say? She basically says, she basically heads over to dance in Paris with Josephine Baker. So she's, I am a dancer with Josephine Baker in Paris, and da da da. And so she heads on over to there, and she's like starstruck by Josephine Baker, and she's on stage performing with her, doing a horrible job at it because she's starstruck, so she doesn't have her notes down. But it's this beautiful moment, and then she has, from that moment on, she has like this conversation with her about hating herself and hating, white people for making her feel small. And it was a very important conversation because I think a lot of people it just felt relevant to today's time, because we are in this space right now where we're doing a whole bunch of social justice stuff right now. We're doing a whole bunch of, we're trying to do some reckoning, we're trying to get some reparations, we're trying to get some, so just like a very like poignant like conversation about just just about the relationships between the people at this time, the feelings of people at this time, how we were just made to feel less than, how we were made to feel small, how we were made to feel that we were unworthy, right? And so that's sort of like a big part of this conversation they have. So next time we see, she goes, I am Hippolyta, warrior goddess. So then we see her go. Remember, I told you the warrior goddess. Here we go. So she jumps over. She's a warrior goddess, and she becomes like the top ranking warrior over there. And remember, she had told Josephine Baker, I want to kill some white people. Like, I'm so upset. It makes me want to kill some white people. So here we are. She's in this foreign land. She becomes the queen over there, or the head warrior, sorry. And they go, she leads this charge, they defeat the men, and the queen is pleased, and then out of nowhere she gives this amazing speech basically telling them, who they are, and like, you have to believe it, da, da, da. The men come to charge, and so she's standing there, and she says, I am Hippolyta, and she goes, George's wife. So then she goes back, and remember in the beginning of the first episode, I believe, when we saw her with her husband, George, Uncle George, when he was alive, she basically confronts him about how he never allowed her to go out on these trips with him. He knew who she wanted to be, and she thought with getting with him, because he knew who she wanted to be, that he would uplift her, that he would like push her to do those things and would support her in what it is that she wants to do. However, she found herself shrinking more and more and more. So not only was society and the white gate, all this kind of stuff like this, making her feel small about herself, but then she got into a marriage that also made her feel small about herself and made her feel like she was just only doing things for her family, and she wasn't able to do anything for herself. And so he ends up apologizing about that. And then she goes, I am Hippolyta, the discoverer, and she takes George with her. And I was like, yeah, she basically gets to show him all these different things that she knew how to do. And I loved it. It was like this very futuristic sort of world. And it was just very cool. Very, very, very cool. So then, it looks like, it was weird because, so then we jump back to the present day, the present moment where Hippolyta shot the cop and they were in that globe thing, whatever, out in the middle of the field. Tick gets thrown out of the portal. So I'm just like, what did he go do? Because we didn't follow his story. I'm like, why is he getting thrown out of this portal? So that was confusing to me. So you guys let me know if you could come up with something. I don't have anything, but he gets thrown out of the portal. And we were thinking that Hippolyta was going to be coming out of it. However, she does not. She did mention that her daughter needs her and that she should go back, but it looked like she was conflicted about what it was that she wants to do. So when Tick goes back, he hears the police sirens because, they've been called. And so he grabs Hippolyta's book, her notes and stuff like this. That was about the time machine. He grabs the key out of the machine. He turns off the machine. And I'm just like, oh, is she going to be stuck? Because the portal disappears. And he runs out. We look down, the camera scrolls down, we see the cop, and like, okay, we already know he's dead. But he left behind Diana Freeman's, Uncle George's daughter and Hippolyta's daughter. He left behind her comic book that she had given her mom before she went on this journey. So we're going to see where this takes us, but that's basically it. I'm concerned about Hippolyta because I don't want her to be stuck somewhere else. Her daughter needs her. Diana needs her mother. So I hope she's not stuck somewhere else. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I really liked that I was able to make that connection between the Wonder Woman universe, because that's the movie I saw where it linked to some of this stuff that we were seeing in this episode. So let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Let me know what you guys thought and with some of the questions that I posed. And that's basically it. I'm gonna get off of here and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.